Okay, good evening. This is the Rutland Town Planning Commission, and it's January 6th, 2022. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Let's start the meeting this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the
flag of the United
States
of
of America,
and to this republic,
which
it stands,
one
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we have in attendance tonight, Jerry Stearns, Howard Burgess, Dana Peterson, Sherman Hunter, Mary Beth Poley, Norm Cohen, Jim Hall, and myself, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So everyone can be voting.
I thought only 7 voted.
There are only 7 of us here.
Oh, excuse me. Well, Dana,
Yeah.
Jerry.
Well, Bill's here, but Bill doesn't. He's
No,
not
of
a
course.
member.
Mhm. Okay.
So we're
Yeah,
good.
I think we're okay if everyone votes tonight. Let's start with the agenda, taking a look at that.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay,
I kind of don't we have 9 people?
I think we have 8 members and Bill.
Let's
we
see,
have
'cause-
7 members and 2 alternates.
Yes.
That's
6
correct.
Okay. Right.
So you have and one member missing.
That's Andy is missing.
Right. So we have Dana.
So you're the alternate. So you're on.
She said everybody was voting and
And-
Jim is here, and that's where I was confused.
I
Right,
don't
Bill.
see Jim.
I think we actually have. Oh, sorry. Never mind. Let's see.
Yeah, there are 8 of us here.
Oh. Okay, I guess I just don't see his icon anyway.
So, yeah, Jim, if you're still on, yeah, it looks like he still is. You would be the alternate. You are the alternate tonight. So, any discussion on the agenda? All those in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Okay, still just the 2 of you there in the town office room? No
Just the
public?
2 of us. We
Okay.
can make it into a song, but all right. I'm distracting us. Let's keep going. Lips. and
Okay.
Milli Vanilli. You're just-
Down to new business. We put in our new policies and procedures that we would, the first meeting of each calendar year, we would elect a chair and a vice chair. So the floor is open for nominations. Norm,
I nominate Barbara Noyes Plink for chair and Dana for vice chair.
Second.
okay, thanks for that. Any other nominations? Okay. All those, so we'll vote on that slate of tried and true and probably tired candidates. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
I think the
Can
correct
you
word.
abstain?
yeah,
Never mind.
if you're speaking, I'm not voting. I don't think,
I didn't vote either.
congratulations, Dana.
Thanks. Congratulations, Barbara.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I think the correct word was rather than tired, seasoned, experienced, well-trained.
Oh, well-trained. Oh,
Yes.
you might be stepping a little bit too far on that one.
I'll take the risk.
Down to old business. I haven't heard back from the Grandpa's Knob people about the requests that we had, but I'll get with them, and hopefully by the next meeting, we were asking them to maybe do some more simulations for us and to give us a better idea what the tower lights would look like at nighttime. I think those were the two things that we asked. So hopefully we'll have more next meeting on that one. And if there's no questions on that or comments, we can move to the next item. So we've got the ordinances that we're looking at, some new ordinances. And I'm not sure with the holidays, we've made much headway, but I would like to set up that small group and have it meet before the next meeting. So Andy is on his way to Florida, so we'll need to give him a few days to get settled. Norm is on that small group. Howard, you still interested?
Sure, yep.
Okay, and I'll be glad to serve on that as well. So if we could meet, I guess next week or the week after.
By Zoom or in person?
Well, I don't think we want to do it in person.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, and Bill, I can probably do it through my Teams at work.
Yeah.
So we don't have to set up this whole room. So everybody can just do it from home. Norm, why don't you and I talk about getting in touch with Andy
Okay.
and getting a date from him, and then we'll.
The one thing I would like to request is I can't seem to find the information permit application online. So Howard, can I call you and you can either email it to me or take me by the nose and lead me where to find it?
It is online, and Bill can, yeah, I can get it to you, but it is online, the application form.
Well,
Bill?
I'll call you. We needn't take up time now.
No, okay.
Okay, so we're still starting with the one that would be like a building code, or just some way to know what construction is going on in town. That's what we decided to start with first.
That's our goal. Yeah.
Yeah, and we still have, also on that list was one for noise and one for the large animals or livestock. And the select board is asked for some information, which I'll try to dig up with the last one, the livestock animal one, what other towns have done with that. So I'll see what's out there. In the meantime, I've heard from a town resident who has a problem with a neighbor. I believe it was horses. And it's not so much a problem this time of year, but in warmer months, it's become quite a problem. So perhaps we can talk to that person when we get to that one, but let's do the building code one first. Next item, the select board, not too much there, although I spoke to them about our energy plan. I've been reading a lot of state energy plans. A couple have come out, both of them huge, with lots of good stuff and lots of stuff in them. So I just mentioned to the select board, we're probably going to be hearing a lot about energy conservation and renewable energy in the future. And I asked them if it was possible to work with the select board's energy committee to initially send out a survey to town residents and start going through those 4 pages of actions, of goals that we set in our enhanced energy plan, So we kind of talked about maybe getting a small group together from the planning commission with this energy committee. And the only one I know is on that is John Paul Fagnant. Not sure, is Joe DiNardo on that, Bill, do you know? It,
There's 3 on there.
yeah, it doesn't meet that regularly,
I
but
thought, excuse me, I thought Mary was on it.
It's JP and Joe.
And Mary?
Nope. John Paul and Joe.
Okay, thank you.
so this working group would start going through, form the survey. And before that, I'd like to set up a small working group of this planning commission to find 10 or 15 of those low-hanging fruit or something that's not going to cost a lot of money, and take that to that joint committee to do a survey. And maybe we get that out in the next circle, or get it out in time for the town meeting, and just get citizens involved, and maybe generate some interest from citizens to maybe participate or help us with some of these goals. So I hope that was okay. I just, one thing led to another that the other night when I was with the select board. And it seemed like a fairly good way to get this off the ground, get it moving.
Well, we had been attempting to get the select board to let us move ahead in some way. And this seems to be at least a start in that direction. So I think it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, they left the door open, and you did an excellent job walking through it quietly and not, starting up any discussion. I mean, it just fell into place, and that's terrific. And, we have, I don't know that we've asked them so much as we've mused over how to do it quite a bit, because they have this energy committee, and for whatever reasons, they were opposed to having the energy committee that we proposed. But this is a terrific first step, and thank you.
Mhm.
Once we get our foot in the door, we can work with them. for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's what I hope. So between now and our next meeting, I'd love to get this other small group together to get those 10 or 15 items together. And then we can go to John Paul and Joe and talk those over with them. Any volunteers to go through? Okay, Norm, thank you.
Barbara, I'd be interested, but not in the next 3 weeks. I have a very busy schedule. But I'd be happy to join your group after that, sometime in February, maybe February through May would probably be better for me, but
Okay.
don't have time available in the next 3 weeks. But so you can put me on the reserve list, put me on the bench.
I could cover the next couple weeks and then we could switch off if you like.
That sounds wonderful, Mary Beth, whatever,
All right.
whatever floats your boat. If
Okay,
you could do it
Dana
now, that's
Slack,
great, because I
Mary
can't.
Beth. Okay.
In the spring, I get busy again, but now is kind of my slower time of year. So,
I'll be a pinch hitter for you, Mary Beth.
okay.
So I don't know how small a group you want. I'll participate also if you can use another one. I'm just a little hesitant because I came in at the end of the all the work that was done on the energy plan, and don't feel comfortable talking about it. So maybe I'll learn a lot more if I get involved now with this.
Okay.
It could be beneficial, Sherman, because you bring a fresh perspective, much like a community perspective. So I think that could be good, both for us and for the select board members. So
And I'm kind of the same. I came in 2019, so it was after it was already written, but
Yeah.
I feel like, right, it'll be a good opportunity to learn more.
Okay. Great.
Well, my whole concern has been that I just remember the labor we put into this thing. And to just see it sit there for a couple years was very frustrating because the everybody pitched in who was on the board, no matter what their views were, and we reconciled our differences amazingly and got a wonderful document. And it just sat there. So I'm thrilled at this opportunity.
Yeah, and I don't know what caused the kind of change of heart with the select board. I mean, it could be just that, you know, this is going to be a big topic of conversation. Especially in the next legislative session, but you know, all around the state in the coming years. So that's my best guess for why they went for it. But thank you. That's a great group, and I'll send out a meeting notice, and hopefully we can find a time where we can all meet.
Barbara, I have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe an ignorant one, but we're going to have 5 people, and I thought any more than 3, you had to send public notice out. So you might check with. It's just a committee, and that may make a difference, but you might check with council.
So I think what we're proposing is that I'll only be involved for like a month while Dana's busy, and then we'll switch off.
Well, even
Right,
so,
we
And we'll
won't be
take
on,
over.
Mary Beth and I won't be on at the same time.
yeah,
Right.
but that'll
exactly.
still give us 4. And I'm just
Okay.
concerned because I think it's been a while since I've looked at the public meeting law, but I just check it out so we're not
Yeah.
stepping in our own mess.
Yeah, thank you, Norm. Yeah, I think 3 is, or over 3 is the number. But yes, thank you.
Well, over 3 is half of our membership, which would probably constitute a quorum, since I think in those new bylaws or whatever that we drafted a while ago, a quorum was considered just a simple majority. So if you have 4 members assembling at any one given time, that would constitute a public meeting. So I think Norman's right, because if there are 4 of us, that's over 50% of 7.
I'm fine
So-
not helping out also. And just reviewing what you guys come up with. So
Well, just be sure it may not apply to committee meetings. But I think a quick check can take care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a quick check. I'll let you know, Mary Beth.
okay, sounds
Maybe I'll
good. Okay.
I might take you up on it.
Hey, Mary Beth, have you just put me off the bench onto the practice squad now?
Right. Oh, I guess I was speaking for you too, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Happy to be on the practice squad.
And it'd be great to have this first meeting before the next select board meeting, which would be
18th.
2 weeks from last Tuesday night,
Right. It's the 18th.
the 18th. Yeah, so before the 18th.
That means it has to be next week.
That's right.
Okay, well, busy little bees we are. Okay, next item, Pocket Park update. There is a scheduled meeting between Green Mountain Power and the town on January 18th to talk about, use of the land and how the town will get to use what GMP now owns, and whether there'll be any changes to that ownership or some other kind of arrangement. That's on the slate. I'm still working through trying to figure out how to do public meetings because it really needs to make use of the map that we have. And people really need to see what we're looking at and where, and if it's too much or if things should be moved. So you know, for some people, it's easy enough to, you know, go on to Zoom or Teams and look at maps, but for other people, it's, you know, it's just not practical. So I'll figure that out.
You're talking about the Pocket Park meeting? Is that what you're
I'm-
talking about?
I'm talking, yeah, I'm talking about one of the next steps, other than the meeting with GMP, is to do
Uh-oh.
1 or 2 public meetings.
Okay.
To let residents know what we've been up to and what we have so far, and just have them evaluate that and make suggestions, you know, give us some additional things to add into the park.
Yep.
So Barbara, is there any way that you could have that meeting at the location of the park outside?
Next week?
Oh, it'd have to be next week?
Yeah, and maybe have paper copies of the map and
And hand them
in
out?
people's hands.
There's a
Oh,
couple
you're
days
trying to
next
have this
week.
meeting before the GMP meeting?
No, they're not no, they're not connected at all. The clock is just winding down a little bit on this grant. Need to get everything wrapped up in March and April at the latest. So
What I was gonna say, Barbara, is because if you don't have that time sensitive need, you could do a meeting on during our regular meeting on the 27th of January, or even alternatively February 17th. And you could do a hybrid meeting where people could come here. Bill could project the map onto the television screen by doing a screen share, make it as big as he needed it to. And any of those of us who happen to be present here could help facilitate at this end. And members who are joining remotely, or those from the public, could ask their questions from the Zoom screen. So, I mean, it might work. It would take a little bit of coordination and certainly some good facilitation from Bill. But that's what my suggestion would be. Try to do a hybrid where people would have 2 options to participate. And the screen here is big enough, I think, that we could project it and Bill could zoom in, but correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, to make it as big as needed. Because if you're operating from the computer, you do a screen share, it goes right up on the television, which is pretty big. So people would be looking at it as if it were a PowerPoint presentation. Just
What if
something
we
to
had-
consider.
What if we had printed copies of the maps like ahead of time that people could pick up, like at the town
Sure.
hall? And that
Yep.
way they could be home, even call in with a phone, but at least have the map in front of them.
That would work too.
yeah, and is it on the website now, Bill, the map?
I don't think it is now.
We could put it in, is there room for it somewhere? Just temporarily, you know, ahead of time, ahead of the meeting.
Yeah, if we were going to do that, Barbara, one of the suggestions that I make to our school personnel who run our website postings is to put it on the front page. Put a special link or an announcement and have it linked right there so that people could see it on the landing page. If that's possible. I don't know how that works, Bill, for your website, but if it could be there, that would be the easiest way for accessing it prior to a public meeting.
So, those dates were January 27th. I don't
And
have a
February
calendar.
17th, those are our next 2 planning commission meetings.
So, I think definitely, maybe pushing it into February.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So we can get the word out.
Plus, we got a pretty full schedule with the various small committees that we've.
Right.
I wasn't preferring one over the other. I was just throwing out a
Yep.
suggestion.
Yep. Bill, does that sound okay to you?
Yeah, we can do that. I mean,
And it would be at the start of our regular meeting that night.
it would be much better to have it in February.
Yep.
January is not, I don't need anything else right now in January.
I didn't mean to throw that out as a firm date. I was just saying.
January, yep, July sounds good too.
I was working back from Barbara's, I don't know if it was April or March or April or May timeframe. So,
Next
Yeah,
one
I
is-
mean, yeah, April is getting all the reporting done, so it's really March.
all right. So, yeah. And that way, if you needed to, you could have a second one.
Mhm.
Or even a
Mhm.
third one before, or second, either in like March 10th or actually March 31st. There would be two opportunities in March, or would there be? No.
March 10th, no, it's, yeah, no, March 10th and March 31st, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you still have two other dates after this if you wanted to schedule another meeting, Barbara.
Yeah,
So I think everybody's in agreement. February would be a good time.
great ideas, everybody,
Thanks.
and Dana especially.
Oh, thanks.
Objection.
Okay, any questions about Pocket Park?
Validated the reserve plan.
So just in terms of the map, so what we've decided is that it'll be available for someone to view online. That's,
View online, and I can get copies to the town office.
And this is the map you're talking about, right? Barbara, the one that I think Mary Beth did. I printed
It's-
it out. I know you can't see it, but it's the one that was in our packet.
I originally did, but it's been updated since then with the scoping. And so it started with that, but it's something, yeah, it's different now.
Yeah, it's color now, and it's got how many, 15 features.
Looks good.
It's a
It
big-
was
wanna
in with
compliment-
the, oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
ahead.
I was just saying it was with the meeting materials that Bill sent out.
Right. It looks good. So compliments to whoever's put their hand on it. I thought it was easy to read and, yeah, understand and, well described with the number, description. So kudos to whoever contributed to that.
Our GIS guru at the Regional Planning Commission.
All right. Pass along our appreciation.
Okay, okay. All right, let's move down to announcements and news then. Bill sent out a couple of things, most of their FYI. It looks like the Thomases and Velcro have figured out how they can get what they wanted to do by relabeling some of the lots
Yep.
without coming through us again. But it apparently they had to get an amendment to their Act 250 to do what they want to do. Is that how you interpret it?
Seemed pretty
Howard?
straightforward, but
Howard, is that a good interpretation?
I guess that's it. And I didn't know, but maybe they had to go before Act 250 regardless because of what they were doing in general with the project that was taking place.
Mhm.
But I don't know, but yeah, it was, they used Jim Goss and that was a way of clearing the way.
Okay.
so I hadn't seen any of these documents before. So the land use permit, is that the Act 250?
Yes.
That we're talking, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's, yep.
Yeah, and then the other one is a wastewater permit that has been finalized for a subdivision off Killington Avenue that hasn't come before us. So hopefully we'll be hearing more about that. They're on the lot, there's one house now. There's 6 acres, I think,
7
And-
acres.
7.
7. And they want to split off 2 acres and put a new house.
Yes.
So they've got the wastewater permit approved by the state. But that approval that came down from the state is the first we've heard of this project and subdivision. And it's not clear who the parties are with this. So just hopefully they'll be by or be calling Bill at some point and giving us more information on the subdivision.
Yeah, that was Dr. Austin's house, and this is, they're both deceased, the parents are, and it's a daughter from wherever she's from out of state, she's handling this. It's
Okay.
their daughter, yeah. And I haven't talked to him, I haven't heard from anybody, all I know is the property is in her name. And so obviously, they decided they're probably gonna subdivide it and sell it or whatever, I'm not sure. But they should be coming before us soon.
They should be. The sale hasn't gone through yet.
No, right, the property has not been split yet, it's all in the daughter's name.
Okay.
Do we have
Do
any?
you know how to get a hold of her or no?
Oh, we know her address, we have the mailing address, it's in the grand
Okay.
list.
Well, there's, they need to record the permit within 30 days with the town clerk, right? So I think then,
That's how we found out about it. That's why, they sent this for recording.
okay,
Okay.
yep.
They may not be aware, that's the point. They may not be aware that they have to come before the planning commission or,
This is the
Right.
first we've heard anything about it. So.
right.
Should we?
And where's the Howard, the property's at the top on the left? Is that where it is? Kind of near the top of Killington Avenue on the north side?
That's correct, it's on the left-hand side as you're going up the north side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
So could
should
it
we
be,
con-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Norm?
no,
Should we reach out to them and say we have, we're aware of this and just want to be sure you were aware of our subdivision regulations before you proceeded?
That's where I was going, Norman.
Yeah,
Sherman, did you have something?
I was just saying there's a possibility that the intent is to build the new house, but not to change ownership of the property. It could be same family and leaving it like that. I'm not, when I read it, I just assumed I assumed that was one of the possibilities of it, of what they were doing here.
That is a possibility. Sure.
I read the same.
But whether or not they construct a house, we still have subdivision regulations that apply to this division.
Only
Right.
if there's a change in ownership.
Only if it's a change in ownership?
No. I don't think so.
I don't think
Bill?
so either. No, I don't think so either.
No, you're taking one parcel and dividing it into
Yeah,
two.
that's-
That's a subdivision.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
I mean, that does seem to be clear and
They may not be dividing it into two, but.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're gonna be putting a dwelling up, they got a septic well and all that, I would think they would have to come before us for something, but. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean-
My impression from reading it is that we're dividing it into
Right.
one
From
parcel.
7 into 5 and 2.
That's correct. That's how I read it.
Yep, that's what I read.
So, Howard and Bill, could you work together to contact
My-
the daughter?
My schedule is full. I have a 17-day town report project to do in 3.5 days. I am booked till January 20th. I got nothing else on my plate. So
I will try to reach out to the son, who might be able to reach out to his sister. I know the son. He's in Middlebury. So he might be able to give me her contact information and I could reach out. Unless Howard wants to do it.
Oh, we
Or
can,
Howard, I can get the information for you.
but we have her information, we have her mailing addresses.
Okay,
and everything.
I didn't know if it would be better to try and reach her by phone or something.
Howard, do you mind
Sure.
reaching out to the daughter?
No, that's fine. I will.
And if we have issues with that, maybe we'll try some of these other methods, Dana.
Yep, send me a text or call me or something like that, and I'll reach out to the son who works in Middlebury. I know him, I've met with him a couple of times, so.
And Howard, do you remember the daughter's name offhand?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't have it in front of me either.
Yeah, that's okay.
It just would be so much easier if they came to us rather than we have to say you did something and then you ran afoul of us. I mean, it just seems
Oh,
to me.
yeah. We're trying to be proactive here and before they take the next step.
It's just probably a question of education and awareness. I don't think there's any ill intent. I just don't think it's like anybody going through a process that they're not terribly familiar with.
I agree.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Barbara.
Yeah. Okay, any other announcements or news? Mary Beth, do you want to give us an update or you don't have to?
Sure. I don't think there's anything new on nothing new on the Northwood Park. Well, actually, just the recent changes to the trail lengths, Barbara, and the new one that you reviewed. So it's basically the person or the company that designed the mountain bike trails had this, the 6 trails, I think it was, in 3 phases. And we were, Mike and the trail designer and I were discussing removing some of the trails because we don't want it to conflict with the shared use path that's going in. But I think we found a way to fit in the amount of trail that Mike and KSA built was looking for, and also only have 1 crossing of the shared use path. So I think we worked all that out. That's the main.
So yeah, so there's an existing Act 250 permit for the park that you're amending to add these bike trails.
Because the shared use path already went through Act 250. So we're amending all the previous Act 250 with the mountain bike project.
Yeah. With a total of all 3 phases of this new mountain bike trail system, how many miles would you say?
Let's see. They're roughly, I can look it up. I think it's about 4,000 square feet or 4,000 linear feet per phase, but I can look it up really quick.
So that's 4 or 5 miles.
Let's see.
Miles, wouldn't it?
Sorry. I'll look it up before we end the meeting
Okay.
and finish my update just so you guys don't have to wait. So
and the funding is there, right? For all of it?
Right. So it was more, so the progression was that I was helping Mike fill out the Act 250 application, and we're trying to we're trying to make sure that the designs worked with what's already at the park and what's planned for the park. So we just thought, well, we'll just remove the trails altogether. But then for the few residents that are involved that are proponents of the mountain bike trails and the trail designer, we're like, well, we can find a way to still have the same linear feet of trail, but move them so there won't be conflicts. The shared use path. So I guess there's that minor update, but we haven't submitted the Act 250, still kind of in the draft process.
Does that money need to be spent by a certain time?
It doesn't, but so that the town can hire the trail builder or kind of reserve them for this summer. the plan is that we would like to have all 3 phases in ideally by next winter. And that's what the select board approved. Mike brought it to them. But we want to make sure that things kind of move forward in a, so that we can have the Act 250 application in time so they could build the trails over the summer.
Okay.
So there isn't, the town hasn't put down a deposit or anything. So, the company's scheduling out their work for the summer. We just at least want to have a good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there was, on Monday, I had a meeting with the Velemont people. So Shelley Lutz and Shelley doesn't live in Rutland town. She's very involved with Pine Hill Park, and getting the Velemont Trail to Pine Hill Park. And then, like we've talked about before, ideally it would go in or near Northwood Park, so that people can use the new mountain bike trails. And but that's in the very early stages. So we kind of talked about where it might go through the town, and the city isn't really open to having the trail go through their property leading up to Northwood Park. So right now we're kind of stuck in, we don't want to have to cross Route 4, obvious safety concerns. We have to cross Meadow Lake Drive, and then we have to cross East Creek somewhere. And we
You have to cross Route 7 too, don't you?
So we do have to cross Route 7. We're thinking that after you hit Northwood Park, we'd follow Post Road, and hopefully I think the timing is such that hopefully the town will build the crossing and the sidewalk that I think is moving forward, or at least that's the idea, that it would cross at Post Road.
It's in the scoping study right now.
Right. So it's kind of moving forward, and this is another very slow.
Would that be a lighted crossing, or what would it be?
That the company we've contracted to do the scoping study is going to give recommendations.
Okay.
Then if it is going to be, it's going to be at the Post Road intersection.
Okay.
But we got to get V-Trans buy-in on that. So.
Okay. They have to approve it to put a crossing there.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, you have to put like some type of a push button light that would stop traffic. Yep. Okay. Just curious, because I was going to say that would probably be the most logical place to cross. Right there at the light at Post Road.
Agrees with that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
So that's pretty common sense.
Right. Which is another reason we want to go through Northwood Park, because if we can't cross there, the next logical solution would be to talk to all the farmers and landowners further north, but then the crossing would be further north. So we're basically kind of looking at all options. We kind of decided on Monday that we'd maybe start talking to landowners. I was planning to talk to you guys, if anyone has ideas on, we're not in a rush. This is very early stages, maybe talking to people that might be open to hosting a trail. So going back a little bit more, the Velemont Trail is it's supposed to be like the long trail, or the Catamount Trail. So, but instead of hiking like the long trail or cross-country skiing like the Catamount Trail, it's more geared towards mountain biking and backcountry skiing. So cross-country skiing also. It would be a multi-use trail. So it's built for mountain bikes, but can be used by hikers and skiers. Kind of like so the beginning of the trail that's already built goes from Rochester down through the Pittsford area. And right now, and this summer, they're building sections that go down through Chittenden and the South Pond area in, where is that? Going down to Mendon to Old Turnpike. So kind of the rough, and I could, if anyone's interested, I can send you maps of kind of the concept for the trail. But that's where it originated. So we're trying to bring it from Old Turnpike Road in Mendon through Forest Service land, and the Forest Service is working. The other group, the Mendon group, is working with the Forest Service on this. So they're trying to get it through the Forest Service, kind of going past the new Forest Service station in Mendon, which ideally would have another mountain bike kind of destination loop along the way. And then the Forest Service land ends up not too far from Meadow Lake Drive. You would be able to see it on the map, but there's really 2 or 3 parcels deep. And we're looking at the Stone Hollow area. There's a kind of camps up there. And the Forest Service is looking into what kind of legal access they have, and just kind of gathering information. Because, ideally they would build a lot of the sections of trail in kind of a natural setting. But we're going to end up having to use roads and dirt roads, but try to stay off the, Route 4 and avoid traveling on roads for safety reasons.
There.
So
Mary Beth, are
Yeah.
there 2 spurs coming out of Rochester? One that would be coming down through Rutland town and the other one going through Pittsford?
Pittsfield, I think she.
Oh, Pittsfield. I thought she said.
Pitts- I may have said Pittsford. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you did.
Pittsfield.
Oh, good.
I knew what you meant.
Sorry. Okay. So
I know there's a
Pittsfield.
Pittsfield over there, but okay. Got it.
there's an area. So there's South Pond and Elbow Road, and then there's like Upper Michigan. I think is further north than that. But they're all these old historical roads that there's kind of a place
Yeah.
where they all meet. So it's
There's a-
roughly following that area. And then, so it's Elbow Road. I forgot the road coming
The
down
Liberty
from
Hill up there,
Chinden.
too. Liberty Hill is
Yeah.
in Pittsburgh. That's an old road that goes all the way from Rochester.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I've driven that road. Yeah, it gets really rough
Yeah,
in
you
the
can
middle
drive it
and
if-
you can go all the way to Rochester. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so that section, well, and then ends at Old Turnpike Road, which, you go to the end of that road and then it continues onto private property. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah, send me a map, Mary Beth. I'm curious.
Okay,
I'd
sure.
love to see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, why don't you share that with the group, Mary Beth?
Okay.
Yeah,
all
please.
That
right.
would be good. I'd like to
It'd be
see.
nice.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for the update.
Yeah, sorry. So it's kind of a long, we can talk about it more in future meetings, and you
Yeah.
can reach out if you have ideas in the meantime.
Yeah, we'll
Yep.
follow it incrementally here.
Hey, what about Mary Beth? What about a tunnel or or an overpass at Post Road?
Hmm.
I know that's a long shot, but I just thought.
But they have it at like Skyship at Killington. It's not,
Yeah.
having a pedestrian bridge
Yeah.
would be expensive.
But they're
Not a bad
plenty of-
idea.
There
Get a grant.
there
That's
are
V-Trans.
there are paths that are crossing these roads everywhere. I'm not sure
Right.
that it's going to be that big a deal. I'm surprised that V-Trans would even get involved in the fact that as long as it's staying off the highway, crossing the highway though doesn't seem
Right.
to be much of an issue in some of the existing paths that are there.
Right. Like the long trail where it crosses Route
Yeah.
4 and
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
V-Trans is only involved if it's not in the city. If it's in the city then has jurisdiction over it.
I don't mean that. There's no construction involved in this. There's no need for, it'd be nice, I guess, if you have a light there, but then one of the paths that crosses our Route 30 doesn't, there's nothing there. You just cross when there's nothing coming. So I'm not sure how big a deal it is that they're crossing the major highways.
Yeah, the fact that there might be children, from the school
In the
using
school.
it
Yeah.
might have some impact, but you're
That's-
right, Sherman.
Yeah.
It's.
Route 30 is not quite the same as Route 7, though.
A little more traffic on Route 7.
Yeah, absolutely.
few more lanes.
I think you guys are making. Yep.
Okay, anything else? Jim, we haven't heard from you, and you have anything for the group?
The thought crossed my mind on this energy thing that we're going to be working on. I'm still troubled by the fact that the cost to the individual taxpayer has not been discussed, as far as I know, at least publicly, since we worked on this thing a couple years ago.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody can really calculate that, especially with the new plans that came out and all of the things that are involved there. But I think, to start, for our start with the suggestions we have in our energy plan, there are a lot of options for like workshops or demonstrations. And, maybe some help, workshops on getting weatherization aid, things like that. So, I don't think there's any upfront costs to residents with what we're talking about right now. In fact, it's more of an education effort, probably, is what we're going to end up with, as the low-hanging fruit. So
I think Jim is right in this sense, is that we always have to keep an eye on it no matter what we're doing.
Yeah.
And the reminder is a good one.
yeah,
But if we're just sending out a survey, there's no visible cost at the moment.
yeah, and the idea of the survey is like, what do residents think we should tackle first? We'll give them the 10 or 15 options. And see if anything is of interest, lights a fire, and so forth.
That's the only thing that I have right now. I'm on currently.
Okay. All right. Well, we're not doing too badly, Bill. Let's go down to the minutes from,
Move to approve the minutes from November 8th.
12/16.
Okay, I didn't catch that before, from December 16th.
We'll fix that easy.
I'll second it.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion, suggestions?
Well, we just caught a typo, so
Yeah, we got that. I think we got that.
I'm going to amend my motion to approve the minutes as we will, what is it? As amended. Yeah,
Okay, can I offer one more?
Let's
sure.
Um,
You second my-
Page 2,
Yeah.
when Jerry had to leave the meeting, I think it would be helpful for any meeting where this happens, that we make mention that not only that one member left, but one of the alternates was moved up. So maybe just something simple there that I think it was Norm that became a voting member. So Norm Cohen went from alternate to voting member at the end of that.
I don't think
sentence.
any action was taken. I was thinking about that myself, Barbara, but I don't think any action occurred at that point in time. But you're just asking to do that as a matter of course?
Yeah, in case there is action and just to have it in the record.
it makes it clear who can vote, and it's minuscule in the scope of things but you never know. We had one meeting where we had 2 people vote. Jim did by accident, and
Yep.
that's what kind of spurred this. I think it's the right thing. It's painless to do and it takes us off the hook.
Helps us keep track of who was present during certain discussions also.
Yeah, that's true.
I had one correction as well, if I may.
Yeah.
Suggested correction. On page 2, right at the top, after number 11, Jerry made some very insightful comments and helpful comments about the sighting from Coal River Road. And I thought there should be a new paragraph that Mr. Stearns questioned whether the I forgot what the fellow called it, but the exhibits or whatever they were.
The picture.
I'm sorry.
I think he had pictures that supposedly gave us a.
Well, there was some technical term that I can't remember right away.
Visual simulation.
Yeah, the visual stimulations may not be as accurate or may not be as precise as they could be, and he asked for further because that was an important point. And I know Jerry felt a little uncomfortable saying it so strongly, but I thought it was right on, and it ought to reflect it, not because it's Jerry, but because of the point that he made.
So that would be number 12, Norm?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Norman?
Yep.
Just a question. Is that not captured in number 11?
10.
Sorry, 10.
No.
No? Okay. I thought it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of, but I think that accurate visual at the
I thought that's what Jerry
and
said.
number.
yeah, okay, I didn't. If everybody else is satisfied, I'm not gonna make a big point of it. I just think that
I am.
to some
I'm
extent, it ought,
satisfied. I appreciate the good words, Norm, but I'm satisfied with that.
okay,
Bill, in number 11, could you change, sorry about my dog there, the Mount Carlson to Mr. Carlson? Okay, Dana, you okay with these?
I am. Just one more thing as we were looking through it. It says members of the public, Fred Laramie, Nick is there a Nick? Is there a last name or no?
That's who logged into the meeting.
Okay.
That's what I had.
Okay. Just thought there might be something missing. So,
There is, yes,
but we can't put it in. Okay.
And I just have one other quick question too. That number 2 of the new business at Grandpa's Knob, it says the project is limited to one 300-foot wind turbine, 300 foot being the height of the turbine because it's 438 feet tall.
Yeah.
Must be that doesn't include the blade.
That's what
Right.
it said. So,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's
it
another
probably-
one of those.
Probably the height of the tower. not
It's
the
the
height
height
of
of the tower only.
Yep.
The blade is 276 feet across, and the total height is 438 feet to the top of the blade.
We could say the 300 foot wind turbine tower. Just add tower to that sentence.
With a total blade height of 438 feet. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Got that, Bill?
Now I'll second that.
Okay,
What is it?
I had-
438 feet?
yeah, I had a suggestion with respect to number 2 under old business. It just seems to read awkwardly, the second sentence. There are several possibilities, but no preferences have been discussed. I'm summarizing. No preferences have not been discussed. So I think the word no should be deleted and it should say there are several possibilities, but preferences from the parties involved had not been discussed. It seems like the word no is inappropriate.
Okey-doke.
okay.
So my
Dana?
motion is to approve the minutes as amended. I changed that as we saw the first thing, and Jerry has
I will
seconded it.
second that, yes.
There we go.
Yeah, you're still with us there, Jerry. Okay. All right, all those in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
as
Aye.
amended?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, anything else? Going once? Going twice? Do I hear an adjournment motion?
So
You
moved.
did, I said it. You've got good ears. Motion to adjourn.
I think somebody seconded that too.
Howard seconded, I
There you
think.
go.
Okay, so we are adjourned.